This evening we're going to look at the updated indexes, but to begin, as I so often do, we're going to look at something that is only obliquely related to them, and in this case it's Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has been very much in the news lately for obvious reasons. And I think psychologically it's interesting to consider because what it's doing is very similar to what the stock market is doing, in as much as it is managed to achieve a nominal new high, which grabs lots of headlines and excitement, and then the millisecond it does, it gives up the ghost. You know, like that was the only achievement it was really seeking, and it took all its firepower to get there, and then down it goes. So in this case, the prior high was 68,978.64, basically 69,000, and that was established back in the heady days of November 2021, when the SPAC stocks were still doing well, when SBF was doing well, when everything was doing well. And it fell from basically 70,000 to like 15,000, and it's been recovering ever since. So much so that it hit a lifetime high today. And the peak on this one was 69244.55. So essentially a fraction of a percent, just a skosh, a few pixels higher than the prior peak. And then, you know, as of this recording, it's down $4,000. And so, you know, it's done sensationally well by almost any metric except for the past like 5 hours. So it's not like some bear market or anything like that. But it's just interesting to me that that was the phenomenon. And I suppose, for whatever reason, I'm not sure what the man would say, that Powell's testimony on Wednesday and Thursday is supposed to be like the next market event. So here we have the Nasdaq Composite, which kind of pulled the same stunt, because in November 2021 it was a lifetime high, and that lifetime high held until just a couple of days ago. So here on the 1st of March, it blasted higher to the highest point ever, new closing high, new intraday high. It backed off from that on Monday, and then backed way off on Tuesday. Essentially, we unwound the gains back to the 22nd of February. So all this stuff was rendered moot. Basically wound back up to the opening price on the 22nd. We have not broken the supporting trend line, and that seems to be kind of a universal right now. So this thing, which has been going on since since October, so October, November, December, January, February, and now into March, has held. And we're seeing that in a lot of different places. So close, but no break yet. I like to keep these to no longer than 10 minutes, so I'll just like jump right past some of these less interesting ones. This is slightly interesting. It did break this trend line just a touch. We'll give it an honorary blue trend line for that, but it didn't close below it. So that's the large cap on the Dow. Hang Seng still falling below that right triangle. The Huey, the gold bugs, has had a huge bounce the past several days, but I'm hoping / thinking that's pooped out for now. The Indo itself peaked back on the 23rd. It was. I'm sure it had 40,000 on the brain. It was trying to get there, and it has slipped about 600 or 700 points. Let's call it 700 points since then. So it's definitely backed off a little bit, and it broke its own trend line a while ago, as you can see here. The Nasdaq 100 was way above its former high. So this high in 2021, this was actually pierced for the first time way back last year in December, and it's just miles above it now. But I say again, this trend line here is not broken yet. This is held, and until it breaks, you know, it's a clear uptrend. The S&P 100 has been quite strong. It tagged the top of its channel, and it's extremely lofty. It's nowhere even in the same zip code as the trend line. Although keep in mind, this is a multi-year channel, not the little pipsqueak 4-month fella I've been showing on all the other charts. So it's really not the same thing. The same thing would be more along, if we use our magical trend line here, more along those lines. Which also, look at that, perfect touch. perfect touch. So it is completely likely that, you know, today's the only down day we get for a while. You know, I hope that's not the case, but it could well be, because we found perfect support there. It could also be that Powell lets a little bit of truth out on Wednesday, and we crack those trend lines in pieces. The Russell, this one hasn't updated yet, so never mind. We'll just jump right past that. The SOX is kind of an interesting critter. We did an overshoot here. This did a throw over, I guess they call it, above the trend line, and it closed right at the trend line. And then today we've reversed away. So it's almost like an island reversal pattern here. So this is probably one of the most bearish things that I'm seeing tonight. So semiconductors might finally have met their maker. Here's the S&P 500. Same deal. Look at that. Look where the trend line wound up. An exact perfect support. Absolutely amazing. It's kind of drinking that in right now. The equally weighted S&P is approaching a lifetime high there. Yeah, it's getting very, very close. And this, of course, completely defied. It looked like a gorgeous sine wave until mid-January. And since then, it's just been like rocketing higher. Insane. Boring. Transports, kind of boring, although I would like to note this is not exactly looking at like it's revving up to push past that support. It looks like it's about to completely falter. This is not what it looks like when it's about to just go blasting, because it would need to go up 1,000 points, actually 1,400 points to get out of this pattern. So this looks like it's gasping for air to my eyes. Util. It's slow mover, really not doing much of anything. The VIX, I mean, these days 14 is practically thrilling. This is the nicest VIX pop we've had in a while, as you can see. XAU, dull, although I've got GDX put, so I hope this eases back. XAX, starting to look a little iffy on this pattern. Starting to kind of emerge out of that, which is not good. This was one of the few surviving rounded tops that was still intact, and even this one looks like it's getting ruined. XBD, the broker-dealer index, completely secure, safe, nothing bearish about that chart. XMI, very pretty. Drum roll, please. You can just hear the snare drum in the background. This is getting very close to a prospective break. So tomorrow, that is to say Wednesday, could be a pretty interesting day. And then XOI, Dullsville Incorporated. It's just it's emerged from this. It's just kind of hanging out in this zone right here. So, long story short, I think it's all up to Mr. Powell at this point. And with that, I will bid you a good night.